Hi, I'm Amy Romeo from Amy Romeo Crafts, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you how easy and fun it is to make faux leather earrings using little bow toppers. And bows are so popular this year, we're seeing them everywhere in jewelry and fashion and home decor. So I wanted to show you how you can bring bows into your faux leather and your other jewelry designs. So I'll be cutting this today with my Cricut Maker, but you could use any of the current Cricut machines because they all cut faux leather with the standard fine point blade. And this is an SVG that's available in my shop. I'll leave a link to it for you. I also have several other designs that you might want to check out as well. But basically there's a bow shape at the top and then there's a Christmas design at the bottom. And what's fun about this is you can cut the bow and then use it for other jewelry designs. For example, here is the little faux leather bow at the top, and then there's a pretty crystal charm at the bottom. Or you could cut just the bottom shape, like these little trees are cut from faux leather, and then you can attach a bow charm. So I've found a lot of really cute bow charms on Amazon and on Etsy, and I'll leave links to all of those supplies for you. But you can see just with these different variations how the bow can add some interest and really update your jewelry designs this year. So the faux leather that I'm using is a smaller print faux leather. So keep that in mind. The designs that you'll cut are small. So think about how much print you'll be able to see on each of these little patterns when you cut them out. But these are all really good choices. A simple plaid or a stripe is really fun. And then the bows I'm cutting from a material called glossy glitter. This is a really fun and easy material to cut. It's very smooth. It's almost like diner upholstery fabric. Really fun and easy to cut and colorful. Now this is different than another type of glitter faux leather you might be familiar with. This is called chunky glitter and it's a lot more difficult to cut. It's got a rough surface and you need to know some tips and tricks to cut this with your Cricut. I have a video about that which I'll link to for you, but I really recommend either a nice smooth surface like this, or of course you could just use any solid faux leathers in your choice. Okay, so some other tools we'll be using: some jewelry making pliers, some earring hooks. I have regular shepherd earring hooks, and then I have some 6mm and 8mm jump rings. We'll be using the purple strong grip mat to cut these materials, along with some blue painter's tape. Then I also have a weeding tool, I have a pin pen, I have some detailed scissors, and then I also recommend a 1/16 inch hole punch if you make a lot of faux leather earrings. This is going to punch that perfect size earring hole if your Cricut doesn't cut the hole all the way through. Then let me just show you some of those other bows that I was mentioning. A lot of these are from Amazon. Many of them are enamel, but this is an all gold one. And then of course you could just use the little bow topper with a fun Christmas charm as a dangle as well. Okay, let's hop into Design Space. I'll show you how to get these shapes cut out and then we will assemble our earrings. Starting with a blank canvas in Cricut Design Space, you'll click on Upload and Upload Image, and you're going to browse to where the unzipped SVG file for this project has been saved on your device. So when you buy this SVG from my shop, you'll get a download email. You'll download the download folder and then unzip it so you can access this SVG file inside. Click on it to select it and then click Open. And you'll see a preview of the bow and tree earring shapes. Click Continue and then Upload. So you'll see that I've given you two different versions here. One has pre-cut holes and one does not. And I always do that in case you want to resize these earrings. But if you're just making regular earrings sized the way I recommend and the way I designed the shape, then I would recommend using the with holes version. So I'm going to click on both of these shapes that are connected. I'm going to ungroup them, and then I'm going to delete the version that I'm not going to use off of the canvas. So here you can see we just have two very simple faux leather shapes. All of our little holes will cut out, and then you'll be able to attach these earring shapes together. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Make It button. We're cutting our materials on a mat. And the first thing I want to do is go through and mirror both of these mats because faux leather cuts in reverse. The next thing I want to do is pull these shapes apart from the edges of my mat here and away from each other just a little bit. This is going to help us when we're cutting. Then when I'm doing this, I want to be looking at what size faux leather I need to be able to completely cut the shapes out. So for these two little bows, I want to cut a piece of faux leather about 3 inches wide and about 1.5 inches tall. And then for the little trees, same thing, a little 3 by 2 inch piece of faux leather. And that's because a smaller piece of faux leather is going to stick on your mat better and get a better cut for you. So I'll click continue. Both of these mats are going to cut using the faux leather paper thin setting. Even if your faux leather is not very thin, don't worry, this is the setting that we use. If you don't have the setting bookmarked as a favorite like I do, you can click on Browse All Materials and search for it. If you're using the Explore Air 2 and you're not seeing this setting, you need to turn your dial to Custom first before you can find this setting when you search. So faux leather paper thin, and we always use more pressure when cutting faux leather. And this is just a reminder that you're using the regular fine point blade. So if you're using the Explore Air 2 or the Cricut Joy, any of the current Cricut machines, they all have this blade, and you'll be able to select this setting and use the regular blade. Okay, let's hop back over to my overhead camera and we will cut out our little bow earring shapes. So I've gone ahead and trimmed my little pieces of faux leather down to that smaller size. Now I don't have anything on the back, but a question I'm asked a lot is, what do you put on the back of your faux leather earrings? And I have a whole video that shows you how to put something on the back like heat transfer vinyl, which adds some finish and some interest to the back of your earrings. I'll link to that for you, but I'm going to skip that step in today's video and just put my little piece of trimmed faux leather pretty side down on my purple strong grip mat. Press it well with your fingers. Now, if you don't have a purple strong grip mat, if you have a brand new green sticky mat, you can definitely use that. And if you're using the Cricut Joy or the Joy Xtra, the only mats you have are green mats, so you can use those as well. Now I'm just putting some blue painter's tape down on all sides. This smaller piece of faux leather along with the tape is going to help keep this faux leather down on the mat, and that's going to help us get a good cut. So first I'm going to load this into the mat and we will cut out the little Christmas tree layer. We're using that faux leather paper thin setting with more pressure that we already chose in Design Space. So if you're new to cutting faux leather, you always want to wait and not unload the mat right after the cut is complete. You want to take a sharp weeding tool and lift up the edge of your cut to see if it looks like it went all the way through. Now, if I'm cutting a shape that's a little more delicate, for example, the little bows where they have 2 earring holes, I do want that to cut again just to be sure it cut all the way through. And the way to do that is you can repeat your cut by pressing the cut button. If you're using the Cricut Joy, the option to repeat the cut will be on your screen in Design Space. But here, as long as I haven't unloaded the mat, I can just press the cut button again and it will rerun the cut as many times as necessary. So my cut has run twice. Again, if you're new to cutting faux leather, just check that cut every time with your sharp weeding tool and repeat the cut as long as you need to. But this one looks good. So I'm going to unload the mat and remove my shapes. And then what I want to do is use that same sharp weeding tool and just carefully try and poke out that little hole at the top. So that one poked through cleanly, but if it didn't, you could always use your little curved scissors just to help trim it out. Or again, you can use that 1/16 inch hole punch. The great thing about the Cricut making the hole is even if it doesn't cut it all the way through, that shows you exactly where to punch with your little hole punch. So I'll go ahead and remove my other little tree here. Now I'm going to return to Design Space and cut out the little bow layer. So again, we'll just remove our shapes and then poke out those little pre-cut holes. Now sometimes you might get some little fuzzies on the edge of your faux leather, just depending on what the backing is made of. So this is a great time to use those small curved scissors. You can also use embroidery scissors and just trim up any of those little fuzzy edges. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this little bow, trim away the edges, and then get my work area set up so I can quickly show you how to attach the jump rings and the earring hooks to finish these earrings. So I've got my little bow shape all cut out with faux leather and the little tree. And what I want to show you how to do first is to connect the faux leather bow to the tree and then attach the earring hook. So I have an earring hook, a shepherd's earring hook. This is just a regular earring hook, but you could use whatever type you'd like. And then I have two 6mm jump rings. I find this is a really good size. Now the first thing we need to do is turn our earring hook loop sideways so that our earring will hang straight. Let me see if I can show you what this looks like. So this is the one that, the way it comes out of the box, where the earring hook is this way, and then what we want to do is turn it so that it faces forward. I hope you can see that. I have a whole video on how to do that, which I'll link to for you, but for now I'm going to quickly turn that loop. So I'm just holding the earring hook between my thumb and forefinger very firmly, and then I'm going to use some flat nose jewelry making pliers, and I'm going to grip the bottom loop here on the hook and just twist so that that little loop turns forward. So now I have the loop facing forward. I'm just going to go ahead and open both of these 6mm jump rings one at a time. I like to do this with two pair of pliers. Open up that little jump ring, attach your tree, then attach the jump ring through the bottom loop of the bow. Close that jump ring up. Now we'll just open up the other jump ring. Slide it onto the little bow on the top, and then attach the earring hook. Close that right back up. And again, this is the little tree design. I have several different bow and Christmas designs in my shop, and I'll link to those for you. But isn't that cute? And then I wanted to show you the same little tree if we don't use the bow, but instead we use a little charm bow. So I've got the little charm. Again, my little tree. Now, if you're using a charm that's kind of thick at the top, I recommend bumping it up to a larger jump ring. So this is an 8mm jump ring. And this is just going to give a little bit of room and movement between the charm and the little faux leather tree. So all I'm going to do is open up my one larger jump ring. First, I'm going to put on the charm because that's going to face forward. And then I'm going to put on the tree. And then I'm going to put on that earring hook. And just make sure all of these things are facing the right direction before you close this up. So here's a look at the two finished variations using those little faux leather trees at the bottom. And then we've got the faux leather bow at the top, and then the charm bow at the top of this one. Here's another look at some of the designs I have in my shop for you, featuring the little faux leather bows. And I can't wait to see which one you create. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.